We're now joined by Cosatu Parliamentary Coordinator Matthew Parks, and he joins us via our video link. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Quite disappointing news coming out from Stats SA today when it comes to the unemployment figures. And you, as Cosatu, have described this as very disappointing, a drop there in the numbers.
Look, good evening. Thanks for having us. Look, any job loss is disappointing, especially when you have an unemployment rate of 41% and a youth unemployment rate of 60%. I think what's most disappointing about the job stats, and look at a superficial level, it doesn't look too bad. Unemployment increasing by 0.2%. You know, and the number of unemployed persons decreasing overall by 46,000. So, in a broader scale of things, it doesn't look too bad. But I think what's particularly concerning about it is that it's for the last quarter of the year, last year. And normally in the last quarter of the year, we actually see an increase in jobs because people go on holiday. The hospitality sector, the economy does quite well as a consequence because people are traveling to the coastal towns, to the rural areas, etc. Also, people go shopping during that period. They do the Christmas shopping, they buy uniforms and other supplies for kids when they go back to school. So the fact that in the busiest quarter of the economy we shed jobs, that's very, very concerning. And I think we're fearful that the next quarter might also have bad figures as well, because we're now seeing a significant increase in the amount of retrenchment notices for the mining industry because of the chaos of Transnet. The economy has taken a bit of a hit for the past 2 weeks because of load shedding increasing again. So for us, we're quite worried that, one, we didn't take advantage of the festive season. Two, the signs don't look good on the Transnet front, on the ESCOM front, on the state and local government front. So I think for us, we're quite worried. We had good figures. If you take a step back, unemployment fell by about 5% in the previous year. You know, for 3 quarters, we had a continuous decrease in unemployment by about 1% per quarter. That is positive. The previous quarter had actually seen an increase in jobs by about almost 400,000 jobs created. So for us, we're quite worried that we might have lost the momentum, and we fear that we might see significant pain in the next quarter as the impact of Transnet and ESCOM begins to bite the economy once again.
And what would you say this says in terms of the efforts being made to sustain and create jobs in this country?
It simply says we have to do much, much more. I really hope that in tomorrow's budget speech by the Minister of Finance at Parliament, it won't be a business as usual approach, because that for us would be simply economic suicide. We really have to treat the unemployment crisis as our #1 national crisis. If we can reduce unemployment, if people can have jobs, society will be able to take care of itself. It'll see additional tax revenue coming to the state through company taxes, through income tax, VAT, etc., to fund public services, to stimulate the economy, etc. But we have to treat this with a level of urgency it requires. So we need to see in the budget speech tomorrow, government expanding the presidential employment stimulus to help young people get into the economy, to labor market. We need to see the SOD grant being significantly increased to give a lifeline to unemployed persons. And again, that's a stimulus to the economy. We have to see the infrastructure rollout by government really being ramped up. And I think most critically is about giving more support to ESCOM to end load shedding, about really putting in place a huge package of interventions to fix Transnet, because that's key to the mining, the manufacturing, the agricultural sectors and their jobs. And of course, fixing the ports, because that's key to all of our exports. We're worried right now that we're not moving as fast as we need to move. And really, government has got to do everything possible to unlock these obstacles to growing the economy and to reducing unemployment.
And it just shows how concerning it is as well when you look at the statistics around young South Africans. And when we go into that budget speech tomorrow, particularly with a focus on young people, what do you expect the minister to say in terms of trying to at least boost the morale of young people in this country?
Look, I mean, no society can be sustainable with 6 out of 10 young people not able to find work. That is a ticking time bomb. And any person who chooses to ignore that should have their head read. It's political suicide. So I think for us, what are the practical things? Number one is we've got to increase the presidential employment stimulus drastically. It's not acceptable that it's been decreased for the past 2 financial years. It is a huge positive impact. We really hope by April we can see it being increased to absorb at least 1 million active young participants, and by November's medium-term budget statement, to increase it to 2 million active participants. It's critical to enable young people to enter the labour market, earn a salary, but also most critically for them to earn, to gather skills, to gather experience, which will help them find long-term jobs. We've got to increase the SRD grant and also to link as participants to skills and employment opportunities. We've got to find these ways of breaking structural unemployment. But I think also we need a frank conversation about the performance of our SETAs. There's no shortage of funds there, but the quality of skills they're providing doesn't match the skill shortages that businesses, the industry has. So we really have to have a frank conversation because, to be honest, it can't be acceptable that some SETAs are rolling over billions of rands every year in unspent money, yet young people can't find the skills and can't get the skills they need to find jobs. At the same time, industry is complaining about a lack of skilled labor and thus resorting to importing labor from other countries. So we've got to get our act together. We just don't have the luxury of time. If we continue to sit in this ticking time bomb, we should not be surprised to see a repeat of the violence we saw in July 2021, because you can't sustain a society where young people just simply can't find work, yet they want to work. And there are green shoots we can exploit. So in some of the industrial master plans, in the clothing sector, in agriculture, or poultry, or sugar, renewable energy, etc., there are real opportunities to grow the economy. Our economy is remarkably diversified, is quite resilient, but we need to give it the support to take off. We should not be simply sitting back and just hoping for miracles. We have to see a much more aggressive stance for the state to unlock the economy.